Hey everyone, welcome to another recap chat. This is Irene, CBiz Media, Faith, Love, and Trends, and we are talking Hunt for Love episode. Well, Hunt for Love episodes are based off of the 90 Day universe, couples that didn't make it, certain people that did make it end up in Hunt for Love. They're trying to kind of get a fresh start. It's a not couples, it's a singles retreat. So it's like learning to love and connect, and you might find your boo there. So this episode continues with Colt on full confront of Rob as they're doing the social media workshop. Then he begins to interrogate Jen on who she's sleeping with, using expletives and all of that. Tim says he was surprised by Colt's rage, but he was loving it. He said he felt like MJ eating popcorn meme. I thought that was like a great analogy of that situation. And I was kind of scared, but loving it at the same time too, till Jen says it's her right to be single and live her life the way she wants to. She's single. She doesn't have to answer to anybody. She says Cole is controlling. He says he's just asking for honesty. And at this point, for Cole, the trust is out of the window when it comes to her. So to me, these love coaches lost control of the whole scenario. Rob says, look at Colt. Off to the side to the producer, she's like, he's not a moral authority in any way. He's played women before. Some pics that were sent to other women while he was in relationships. So we know Colt has a past. We've seen him in the 90 Day universe do some messy work. So Rob was like, why should I listen to you? You're not the moral authority on anything when it comes to relationships. Look at your past. The coaches finally break in and say communication and honesty is our issue for you guys. This is not going well in these areas. And playing each other and rumors are your focus. If that is your focus, everybody's going to lose. So that basically everyone in this group scenario, as far as the people that are arguing and the people that have and even they're just saying rumors are being spread and all this. So communication and honesty is an issue for the whole group, really. And that's something they need to work on. Tiffany herself says she can't believe Rob did nothing with her, yet he did supposedly spend the night. And she's right. Then we get to a double date. Maybe a little bit of an unexpected double date for me. Chantel and Joe and Usman and Nikki both go to the spa. Of course, once they get there, they're separate. But he says Nikki's beautiful. Chantel says Joe is handsome. He's got green eyes, which I didn't see that. But I have to mention someone that I was kind of talking to. I don't think it was ever really official, but we were digging each other. It was flirtatious. We exchanged numbers, but there was no like real commitment, but we liked each other. And he had some incredible eyes with like multicolored flecks in it, and he was biracial. He had freckles. I just had to mention, shout out to him. I'm not gonna say his name, but he kind of just disappeared. Don't know where he went, but all the best for him. Anyway, Nikki kind of shares her love for animals and the rescue mission on her way to the spa. And Usman's like, that's too much for me. I don't want a house full of animals. When they get to the spa, it's a beer bath for Joe and Chantel and an energy cleanse for Usman and Nikki. So it's like, make your own beer bath. They have all the ingredients there for you. Do it yourself. So I was kind of surprised that, hey, here, just take this basket, guys, and just throw it in this tub and make your own beer bath. They both are into the bath for the eye candy. They both talk about how they like each other's physiques. It looks super frothy. It looks very frothy, like a beard. Um, Chantel, of course, has to mention her floaties. The energy cleanse, Usman's like, what is this? It was kind of weird. It's like smoke everywhere, and this lady's, it feels like she's chanting and casting spells on them. It was kind of creepy. It was like I'd rather be in the bath than to do this so-called energy cleanse. It was kind of creepy, guys. So the two of them, Usman and Nikki, go to the pool afterwards, and she just walks in the pool with her dress on. She's like, I didn't really know we were gonna do a pool. I guess she didn't have her bathing suit, so she walks all the way to the pool with her dress on, and Usman's into it. She asks about Nigerian marriage, and he says, well, you can have 4 or 5 wives. You can have like up to 4 wives. He didn't say 5, but who knows? It could be more than that. But Nikki shares with him, hey, I'm bisexual. So he has questions. He says, how do we sleep together? Basically, how do I please you physically? And she's like, LOL. All that means is I like more than one sex. I like men and women. It's not like you have to do certain things in the bedroom because of that. So that part was kind of funny how confused he was about that. But he said, in his culture they don't really talk about things in the bedroom. So he was confused. And when it comes to the bisexual thing, that's not really his type. That doesn't interest him. But he says hopefully he made Courtney jealous in the interim of this whole situation. So bisexual for him, I'm thinking he's like, well, do I use more than one entry point? And that was kind of like bi means two. I feel like that's kind of where he was going with that. She prefers me to use more than one entry point. I don't really know, but from what he said, it sounded like that's what he thought. And I think I asked this question from the Caught in the Act audience for one of my shorts, but I don't know if I got a chance to ask you guys that question, but would you date a bisexual? That question is still on the table. Chantel and Joe are cozy in their little beard tub. Again, the whole concept of the fact that she's older than him comes up. He's a couple years younger than what she's used to dating. She's dated younger, but he's a little bit younger than her younger dates in the past. They did get a kiss in, but it looks like she pulled back. I didn't really watch the Between the Sheets. I don't always get a chance to watch that. But basically it's the aftermath of the show and recaps and there never before things that we didn't see. So maybe there was a little more kissing, and maybe they answered the question why she pulled back from the part that I saw. But basically they're into each other and she feels a connection. Cole chases down Jen in the dark. She doesn't want to talk to him. This is like after the whole social media workshop went terribly awry. She says basically, I need some time alone by myself, and give me some time. Maybe we could talk tomorrow. I need a professional to kind of intervene, mediate between us, because right now I feel attacked by everyone. And she lets us know that she would like to bed rob but marry Cole. She said that earlier on, and I guess she's sticking to her story. That's her current mindset. So the group has a little night mixer at the Tiki Bar. They call it a Tiki Bar. And Courtney and Elaine, they kind of catch up, and she shares that Jen, Cole, and Rob blowout situation because Courtney was not at the workshop. And she also shares, hey, Usman is on a date with Nikki, and Courtney's like, who is this Nikki? Like, I've been trying to reach him, and I've been wanting him to ask me for a date. So Courtney's really getting upset just by knowing he was on the date. And she's like, where's my date? Didn't know she really cared that much about Usman. I knew she was like in between Usman and Colt. But Colt really went wild on the scenario at that social media workshop. I don't know how I would feel after seeing somebody do that I was into. I don't know. Chantel and Joe are kind of booed up now. They're at the tiki bar mixer, and uh, seeing their little connection inspires Colt to try to go for Courtney. And I kind of thought he did already, but I guess he didn't go for it enough. He wasn't clear enough, I guess. I don't know. They just want to keep us hanging on these story plots. Carlo and Tiffany are still hanging out, but her options are still open. The Courtney, Colt, Usman triangle and jealousy tit for tat game is going on, and Rob and Jen joke since they aren't there. Everybody's kind of joking that they're together playing video games, probably some more Mario Kart. Jen really likes that. Elaine and Tim, they kind of stir up trouble with Usman and Courtney. They're trying to kind of get them together, which I guess in a way it's not that troublesome. Maybe it's a good thing. They encourage him to ask out Courtney. So he pulls her, and she kind of argues a bit. Hey, you're taking other people out. What about me? He says he needs her attention because it feels like she's giving more attention to Colt, and he needs to know that he's wanted. So, as Colt's over there seeing the scenario, talking to everyone else, he's like, oh, she's probably going to reject him. She probably knows he's, a fake or whatever, and she's just going to see right through him and reject him. Jay, who's a member of he's a member of this cast, but he's not a 90-day member, so I haven't seen much of him, but he's African American, and he decides to ask Tiffany out. And she said she's a bit surprised, but she's opening the door for all the different possibilities. She's not going to turn anyone down. Not that she's going to be that girl, she's saying, but she's open to meeting people and seeing if there's a connection. That's the whole point of being there, right? Usman woos Courtney into a date. She was kind of half in, half out, but she was really a lot in because she was already jealous from the fact. So his little jealousy scheme must have worked. And sorry, Colt, Usman takes your girl. The two of them walk off together. They say goodnight. So you got your girl too, Mr. Colt. He walks her home. He was a gentleman, and he says he'll call her. They share a little hug. He'll call her to plan their date that they now have agreed to go on. And I'm glad he did it that way. I'm glad he wasn't trying to get in her room. Because last time he got in her room, it was kind of awkward. And I'm glad he didn't force himself to stay. He's like, I was feeling a vibe that you weren't feeling me staying. So, Usman seems to be a gentleman all around. Of course, he tries to have a little bit of a sly tongue. He tries to be a little suave, a little bit, to sway you. And, he has a game, so to speak. But to see he's a gentleman and respectful, I dig that. That's a good thing. So Jen and Rob aren't at the mixer, but their reports are partially true. They are together, hanging out in her room, sharing a meal together. Who knows what else? Maybe catching up on a little more Mario Kart. I really don't know. But they're together. The next day, Coach Tanya meets with Jen and Cole to kind of hash out their situation and all that arguing from the beginning of the episode. She doesn't want to be judged by dating new people. The whole point is, like they said on this show, was to meet new people and see what's out there. Cole is a little bit smothery. He's jealous and controlling. And she lies again about what happened with Rob, basically saying nothing happened with Rob, that they didn't make out even. Like, I'm trying to see, why do they even have to add that part? Because it just, to me, makes it seem suspect to me. Tim, yeah, especially if you're hanging out with a guy all night, I'm not gonna hang out with a guy all night and that I have some attraction to. And even if I didn't, I'm like, only way I'd hang out with a guy all night is if we were stuck together and there was no way for us to even go anywhere else because of some scenario. Otherwise, I would probably be into that guy. I'm not gonna say that I will sleep with this person, but there will be maybe some cuddling, some closeness. You're not gonna hang out with a guy all night just to hang out and not have any type of physical contact. I think that that's not true. You have a great time hanging out with a guy all night and just talking all night, true. But I'm pretty sure some type of physical contact will take place. It doesn't have to be everything, but something. But it was just a lot of Mario Kart took place between them. A lot of Mario Kart. Um, Tanya says, I'm sorry, Tim actually is talking to Tiffany, and he says, he wants to connect with Elise. They have a kind of a cool vibe with each other. Dude, she rejected you for the date. I don't know why you think that you have a chance, but maybe you do. She didn't full out reject him, but she chose someone else. She obviously doesn't have eyes for him. They may be cool with each other. She may feel like he's a friend, but honestly, I don't think she's seeing him in that way. So he's really gonna have to step it up and show her that that's how he's feeling. That's what I think. Tanya says, who is the dating coach, she says now we're going back to Jen and Cole, that they have to be clear about their expectations with each other. And so Cole says he's fully committed to Jen, and she likes that. So basically, Cole is still all in, even though he says he doesn't trust her. Like, to me, their little back and forth yo-yo game is kind of like not making any sense to me. I couldn't be all in with someone like that, even though she's like projecting falseness here. I could still kind of see through enough information that I could not deal with this person. But after she says she likes, what he said, we don't get to see her response because somehow something's going on. There's an ambulance in the area and we don't know what happened, but it sounds pretty bad. And I know during the preview, somebody said Rob's name. I don't know why they said Rob's name. He was nowhere to be found over there, so I don't think Rob is the person. Now, I could be wrong because he looks like he was talking to Tiffany and Tim at the time this ambulance came around. So I feel like Rob is not the person involved in here. It may be one of the other attendees, one of the other cast members of this retreat. It may be another person that's on the island. We don't know. But hope all is well for this person. This little cliffhanger has been kind of hovering around, so I'm sure everybody wants to see who is this person and what happened. So guys, that's the end of our Hunt for Love recap. Chat, thoughts, comments, questions, feel free. I kind of took my time, was a little bit slow today. I have a new routine, so I'm trying to work that out. But stay tuned. Continue to check us out. Thank you for all the love and support. Email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com with your thoughts, comments, questions. And check us out on our other platforms at cbiztvmedia.com. All the best. God bless.